guys, welcome back or to my channel. This video is going to be what I took to university first year versus what I actually needed. So there were a few bits of kitchenware or things I took from my room that I didn't need or I took too many of. A lot of stuff ended up just stored under my bed for most of the year, so there was really no need for me to take it, and it just made it harder to move out. If you haven't seen my last video, this is a follow-on, you should go and check it out. It is a vlog of me moving out of university 3 months after I'd actually moved out because of the pandemic. Just a quick side note before we get into the video, I bought this stuff obviously like a year ago now, so I can't remember the prices or where everything came from, but if I can remember where they came from, I will let you know. I just want to point out that I had an ensuite room in Cartmel College at Lancaster University, so my room was a single bed and I had my own bathroom and a shared kitchen. Okay, so I want to start with kitchenware. Okay, so the first thing I've got is plates. These were pretty essential. I've got 3 of these. I've got 3 of the side plates, and then I've got 2 of the bowls. These were from Wilko's. They were alright. I'm surprised I didn't smash one, to be honest. The only thing that annoyed me really was like having the lip around them, and these are pasta bowls, so they weren't the best for cereal. But other than that, they were perfectly good quality. I think I got the right amount for me. Next we have glasses. These were again pretty essential. I bought these in a pack of 4. They were a bit big, to be honest, but they did the job, I guess. I think I used 3 at a time sometimes, so a pack of 4 was perfect. I didn't need any more. Next we have the shot glasses that I took. These were, again, they weren't essential or anything, but we did use them in my flat a bit. I did use 3 at a time, again the same with the other glasses, but I definitely didn't need a pack of 6. If I bought them, I would have bought a pack of 4. Then I have the pans that I took. So I took a frying pan. This is pretty small, to be honest. It was about right for what I needed it for. I used it quite a bit. Definitely a good investment, and depending on what you cook, quite essential. Then I have the 2 saucepans that I took. I had this big one, which I mainly used for pasta, used it quite a lot. Then I had this small one, which was the one I used for sauces and things like that. Again, it was pretty essential, and I think 3 pans was definitely enough for me. I didn't need any more, and it was rare that I struggled to have enough room to cook everything on the hob at the same time. So yeah, I think 3 pans was definitely enough for me, but again, it does depend on the food you're cooking. Next is the strainer I used. This was quite useful and it's a handy size. It's a good size for a personal one. I took it from home, so I don't know where it came from, but it was used quite a lot and I would say pretty essential. Then we have the sieve that I took. This again got a lot of use for rice and things, and it's another one I think I took from home. So I can't tell you where it came from, but I think they're pretty cheap anyway, but I would definitely recommend getting one of these. Next we have the measuring jug I got. It's just a basic plastic measuring jug. They're pretty cheap from pound shops and places like that. Definitely recommend getting one. I used it a few times. Definitely useful and I would recommend it. I also took this mixing bowl, which I can safely say I didn't use once. I don't know, I think I took it thinking that I would use it for baking or something. I like baking at home, but I never really did it at uni because I never had any of the stuff. So unless you're going to use it, don't bother. Next I have the utensils I took. So I'll do it in 3s because I can't carry them all. There is the potato masher, the spatula and the spaghetti strainer. I used the masher and the spatula quite a lot, but I never once used this. I don't even really eat spaghetti, so I don't know why I bought it. But yeah, it is, again, it depends on what food you're eating and cooking. I personally really love mash, so it was something that I made quite often, and I used the spatula to get things off the baking tray, so that was useful again. Then we have the spoon, the slatted spoon and the tongs. I use the tongs quite a lot. I never use the slatted spoon, and I can't remember using this, but I'm pretty sure I would have done at some time. Yeah, I think I would definitely get the plastic spoon anyway. It's useful for different things. The slatted spoon really wasn't necessary, and tongs I would definitely recommend getting. The whisk I got, again, I planned on baking, didn't happen, didn't use this once, so yeah, it was a bit of a waste of money. Then there's the wooden spoons that I took. I originally took this one, but it's absolutely massive and it was pretty useless. So definitely get one of the ones that is like that style. But I would recommend getting maybe one or two of these. I only had one or two. Oops. If I was like having pasta and sauce, I'd put one in the pasta, one in the sauce. So having more than one is useful, but definitely not 100% necessary. Next are the mugs I took. These are also from Wilko's. My theme was grey and pink, but I don't think I used these. I bought these in the beginning because of matching the colour scheme without really thinking that they're quite small. So I used these for about the first week before I went out and got myself a bigger one. I think I ended up using this one for coffee and this one normally for like cuppa soups. I would definitely recommend getting more than one mug, but you probably don't need more than 2 or 3. Yeah, the only reason I had 3, like I said, was because this was too small and I bought a bigger one. Yeah, 2 is probably useful in case you don't have one washed or in case someone comes up, but definitely don't need more than 3. Then we've got this little oven dish thing that I took from my house. I didn't originally take this with me because I didn't know I'd need it, but then when I came to making some of the foods I wanted to, I knew I needed one. I went looking for one in shops but couldn't find one that was small enough for this, so I ended up just taking this one. It was useful for making like pasta bakes, or I think I made cottage pie once. Definitely not necessary, but again, depends on the food that you're making. So if you make things like that that go in the oven, then I definitely recommend one, but again, not necessary. Next are the baking trays, oven trays, whatever you want to call them, that I took. I took 2 of these. I don't think I ever used both at once, but definitely I probably recommend taking 2 just in case you need to cook 2 things at once and you've got different times or whatever. Probably count as an essential. I don't think I used them that much. I didn't really cook that much oven food, but yeah, I would definitely recommend getting a couple of them. Then I had this pizza one that I got. This definitely wasn't necessary. I think I used it once in the start of the year. Probably if I was having a like pizza or something, I could probably have just put it on one of the square ones. Definitely didn't need this. Not an essential at all, but it was useful for the once, I suppose. Then I had this chopping board that I took. This was useful for cutting anything, so definitely an essential. Probably regardless of what you're cooking. If you're chopping anything or using meat or anything, you definitely need a chopping board. So yeah, I think this was pretty cheap. I think it was only £1, but definitely recommended. Next, I had this tin opener. This was a pretty good tin opener. I think a few people in my flat ended up using this. Definitely an essential. There's not much really more I can say on a tin opener, but yeah. Then I had a pair of scissors, again, pretty essential. Ended up sharing them a few times, but useful. I had a pizza cutter that I took with me that, again, like the pizza tray that I had, I only used once. Definitely not essential, could have done without it, but it wasn't expensive. But yeah, just definitely not essential. I had this potato peeler that I took. I used it every time I made mash. Other than that, I didn't really use it. It was useful just to have in case I wanted it, but again, it depends on the type of food you're making. If you know you're not gonna end up peeling potatoes, then there's definitely no need to get one. One thing I will mention that I didn't take was a bottle opener. I ended up using my friends or my flatmates quite a lot, so I do recommend getting one of them. Then I had this cutlery. It was okay. It's cheap. Like, I think it's from Wilko's. It was quite cheap. One thing I would say is maybe invest a little bit more money into them. These are going rusty. around the edges where on the ones I've used the most, and also they're not the most obvious that they're yours. One of my flatmates had the same as me, and I had to end up, I counted all of my cutlery every like week or so just to make sure neither of us had taken the others. And yeah, I would just say get some more unique cutlery, I guess, and maybe spend a bit more on it than I did, because yeah, I'm gonna end up buying these again this year. So yeah, if you spend a bit more money, you're not gonna end up rebuying these every year like I have. Then I had these Tupperware boxes. This is the biggest one of the set from Wilko's, I think. They were pretty useful. I think these ended up just sat on top of the cupboard because they were too big to really use for anything. I only used the smaller ones. I would say get the smaller rectangular ones that are just a bit more easier to use. Yeah, easier to use. Yeah, like I say, I couldn't really store this anywhere, so it ended up just holding the smaller one. I had two of the smaller ones used to hold my pasta, one held my rice. I think one ended up using as a money pot for change. Yeah, I would say get smaller ones, but definitely another necessary item. I also took a couple of metal straws. These were useless just because I don't like using reusable ones. Paper straws are literally useless and I won't use plastic. So I took these just to use in drinks and stuff. Again, not necessary, but I liked having them. And then I took... Okay, the whisk just fell off the bed. It's fine. Then I took this cute lunchbox. I think I got this from the works last year. I just liked the little guacamole on it. It's just held on with like this little rubber band and just opens up like that. I used this when I had a break that wasn't long enough for me to go back to my flat. My flat was about a 10-15 minute walk from my like closest lecture theatre, so walking back took quite a while, and if I ended up walking there and back obviously is half an hour, which I then had to take off an hour's lunch break, so I ended up with not really enough time to eat. So yeah, I would just put something in there and take it to the library and eat it in there. I also took a water bottle. I actually ended up with about 5 water bottles because I took 2 with me and then ended up buying some, and I got some for free when I got there. Definitely recommend taking. Used it every day. Then I had these Easy Seal food bag clips. We use these all the time at home, and basically they literally just like clip on to the bag to keep it fresh. I mainly just put it on like packets of things that I need to keep fresh or bread. Definitely not an essential, but useful to have to keep your food longer. These oven gloves, definitely recommend. Mine were the only pair that ended up getting used in the flat, so they're definitely essential, but if you know your flatmates beforehand, I would probably send a message to a chat or anything and make sure that you're only buying 1 or 2 pairs, because you definitely don't need a pair each. Then we had tea towels. These are all scrumpled up and they shouldn't be, but it's fine. I bought a pack of 4. We all used our own tea towels in my flat, but I know in some flats people share them. So again, personal preference, but definitely an essential for any flat. Then I had these, this set of knives. I think these was from Asda. I think these were bought for me, so I don't know how much they cost. But yeah, it's just a set of 5 knives in this cute little stand, which really seems ideal, but it's actually broken and the knife can like come through, so it's gonna get thrown in the bin. But definitely recommend getting the knives, probably an essential to pretty much anyone who's cooking. Then I had these 3 tins with my tea, coffee and sugar in them. I didn't originally take these with me, I kept them in the jars. It took me about 2 weeks and I got bored of doing that and I went out and bought these. They're a lot more expensive than I expected, to be honest. I remember being shocked at how expensive they were. I think I got these from Wilko's. But yeah, I definitely used them a lot, but they're not essential at all. You can just use the packets that they come in. I just prefer to use this, probably because of how many cups of tea and coffee I have. Moving on to things that I had in my room, I had this grey lamp. Like I said, my theme was grey and pink throughout like everything. I definitely use this quite a lot. We had our main light and a light under our desk, but other than that we didn't have any other lights that weren't really like yellowy. So I took that with me and I found it really useful. I think it was from Dunelm, and yeah, definitely not an essential, but I used it quite a lot. This was just something that I had in my bathroom. It held my toothbrush and toothpaste. There was nowhere in the bathroom to do it, so I definitely recommend taking one of these just because it's easier. My room came with a bin for my bedroom, but not for my bathroom. So I bought I think this was from, it's got the label on it, so yeah, it's from Wilko's. I think it was about 50p. Then I had extension leads. I had 2 of these, but I really only used one. I think I used it mainly so that my phone charger would reach my bed. Definitely recommend taking one just because you probably won't know where all the plug sockets are. So I also took a pack of coasters. These, I think I used 2, maybe 3 at a time. I had one on my bedside table and then one on my desk. One thing I didn't take, I got given this by a flatmate, was a doorstop. Definitely useful for doing Freshers Week because I definitely recommend keeping your door wedged open. It makes it really easy to make friends in Freshers Week. The bedding I took to university is in the wash, so I can't show it yet, but I took 2 sets of bedding, which was useful. I definitely recommend taking 2. It's easy just so that if you wash some and it doesn't dry in time or something goes wrong, it's just, you've got a spare set of bedding there. I had an all seasons duvet, which I did actually use as the all seasons sort of function thing. Yeah, in first term I had both on, and then in second term I took one off and stored it under my bed. I know some people don't use it, but I took it because I didn't know how warm or cold it was going to be. I definitely recommend taking a mattress topper. It was in our contract that anything spilt or on like dirt on the mattress would be charged off our deposit. Then I had this chopping board that I took. This was useful for cutting anything, so definitely an essential, probably regardless of what you're cooking. If you're chopping anything or using meat or anything, you definitely need a chopping board. So yeah, I think this was pretty cheap. I think it was only £1, but definitely recommended. I also took a clothes airer because obviously the laundry wasn't cheap, so sometimes I would just end up, especially if it was like light clothes, I would end up just putting it on the clothes airer and it'd be dry within a day. So sometimes it's easier just to do that rather than spend the money on the drying. The main thing is just take stuff that you want. Like, don't restrict yourself from taking something or buying something for uni because it's not 100% necessary. If you want to take it, that's fine. I took stuff that I think I took way more than any of my other flatmates. But I really liked how I ended up with my room looking. So yeah, as long as you're not like so full you can't pack the car, just take whatever you want. It's honestly, everyone's going to take their own stuff that they like, stuff that makes them feel that they're at home. Just take stuff that you want, stuff that will make you feel comfortable at uni. Obviously it's a really scary time and it's the first time you're alone, so just take what you want, don't worry about it. I hope you enjoyed the video and I hope it was at least a little bit informative for some future university students. Even if you're not in university, I hope you enjoyed watching me go through some of the absolute rubbish that I took with me anyway. So yeah, if you did like the video, please do give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I hope I see you in the next video.